Let's dive right into the breaking news. In a potentially groundbreaking shift in American constitutional law, the Supreme Court appears poised to strike down the landmark Roe v. Wade decision. According to a leaked draft opinion published last night by Politico, a majority of the Supreme Court is prepared to overturn the right to abortion. The leak of the 98-page document is unprecedented in the court's modern history. The draft opinion was reportedly authored by Justice Samuel Alito and circulated in February. Alito writes in part this: Roe was egregiously wrong from the start. Its reasoning was exceptionally weak, and the decision has had damaging consequences. It is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives. NBC News has not obtained or been able to independently verify the authenticity of the document, and the Supreme Court has declined to comment. The final opinion is expected in late June or early July. Joe, so many different moving parts here, but overall, what does this story mean for the Supreme Court?
Well, I mean, for the Supreme Court, in a word, illegitimacy. You know, the court's always been guided by the law, but it's also been keenly aware that as the only unelected branch of American government, they needed to not appear to be openly contemptuous of public opinion. That would be especially true today, given the GOP's might makes right approach to the sacking of Merrick Garland's nomination or the elevation of Donald Trump's final pick. One more thing. Look at this picture, Mika, from Madeleine Albright's funeral. The 5 Democratic politicians on the front row won the most votes in the presidential elections of 1992, 1996, 2000, 2008, 2012, 2016, and 2020. And yet, a half-century of constitutional rights supported by over 70% of Americans. Let me underline that again, because people lying to you on other channels will never say this. Over 70% of Americans support that constitutional right. It'll be swept away by the presidents not in this picture, and the presidents who were outvoted in each one of those elections over the last 3 decades. Now, Americans will rightly conclude that their voices and their votes no longer matter. So what are the implications for the court, for the law, and for American democracy? Let's bring in historian John Meacham and also former acting U.S. Solicitor General Neal Katyal. John, let me begin with you. And as Kissinger said, I think during Vietnam, perception is reality. Obviously, the perception for 70% of Americans waking up this morning is going to be most likely that this is an illegitimate decision by an illegitimate court.
Well, the crisis of trust in institutions has just become universal in a way that is pretty much the nightmare scenario if you believe in the ultimate efficacy of the constitutional order to produce a more perfect union. Right, to protect the Jeffersonian assertion of equality, to protect the rule of law. For all of its imperfections, the system has been worth defending for 250 years. Right now, if this draft decision, if the court were to go this far, you will have, as you were just saying, an extraordinary number of Americans believing that the system, in fact, is not capable of delivering justice, is not capable of reflecting the popular will, even through the constitutional prism. And I think that, you know, one of the great questions of the era, the great question of the era, is, are you and I, are we in this decade, are we up to democracy? Are we commensurate to the task? And I'm worried that we're entering the darkest period of that test, because if you have any reservations about the system's capacity to deliver justice, they have just been affirmed.
Neal, Katyal, again, this isn't actually terribly surprising based on the oral arguments we heard in the Dobbs case back in December. But as Joe points out, poll after poll shows this is about a 30% position that the Supreme Court has taken. It doesn't obviously operate on polls. It operates on whether or not they believe this Roe versus Wade should be upheld, whether it's legal. But you've slept on this. You've read through most of the opinion or the draft opinion. What is your first blush reaction, first to the substance of it, and second to this leak?
Honestly, I want to cry. You know, I want to cry in so many different ways, but just to start with the substance of this decision, this is as full-throated and muscular a decision as could ever be envisioned. And yes, after the oral argument, I think we all predicted Roe versus Wade was on thin ice. I think many thought it would be another year. I mean, for the last 3 years, I've been saying, given once Justice Barrett got on the court, Roe's days are numbered. But to see it in print, obviously, it's only a draft opinion, but it sure looks like a real opinion. I mean, this is hard. This is not. It doesn't look like it's a deep fake or anything like that. It uses all of Justice Alito's kind of signature moves, and so it really does feel legitimate. And what it means, just on abortion first, is that states can now pass laws with no rape or incest exception whatsoever prohibiting abortion, and those are now constitutional. The Supreme Court will not stand in their way. Congress can pass such a law outlawing abortion in the 50 states. The Supreme Court will not stand in its way. So that's on abortion. And then the reasoning of this decision is so, as I say, muscular, it could reach other rights as well, including the right of marriage equality, which is just recognized by the Supreme Court a few years ago. I mean, this is an opinion that Robert Bork would have written. This is not an opinion that most justices who have lived in our lifetimes would have written. And Robert Bork, of course, was rejected for the court because of these views.